Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's conference session, Trends, New and Now. My name is Ashley, and I'm the conference manager for the marketplace. We just wanted to share a few housekeeping tips before we get started. Everyone is muted by default except the speakers. If you have any questions during the presentation, though, please type them into the question or chat box functions, and I will bring them up during the presentation. We will also be doing a poll at the beginning of the session, so please feel free to respond and include your answers. And we will also have time for questions at the end. This session will also be recorded, so you can go back and watch again. The recording will be available on the marketplace tomorrow. Once again, today's conference session will be about Trends New and Now, featuring Lily Stamets, founder of Premier Retail Consulting. Take it away, Lily.
Well, thank you very much, Ashley. So good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us for this marketplace educational session, New and Now. As Ashley said, I am Lily Stamets, and I'm working with Ashley today to bring you this session. And as we know, using Zoom platform, we're using the Zoom platform today, and we've found Zoom to be pretty reliable, but sometimes it's not always perfect, and neither are we. So if you see little idiosyncrasies, please be patient and know that we're working behind the scenes to bring you a great experience. And you can put any of your questions in the chat box, and Ashley will see them and then help you if you're having any issues. I also wanted to thank Clarion Events for inviting me today. We really appreciate Clarion Events for hosting this educational session and all the sessions they've been hosting for the last couple weeks. If you remember Clarion as Urban Exhibitions, they produced and managed a portfolio of over 35 events covering 6 different industries. And many of us have attended their regional shows. You may remember the New York, the Chicago, the Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Los Angeles shows. And I'm sure several of you in the audience have also attended, and I have actually presented at those regional shows. And Urban merged with Clarion in 2015, and Clarion's now producing in-person and virtual trade shows. Most recently, they produced the Smoky Mountain show in Gatlinburg. So a little bit about me. My career has been in both for-profit and not-for-profit retail. And my specialty has been turning around and starting up departments in large departments, in department stores and in small specialty stores. I've worked for Macy's, Levi Strauss, Nordstrom, Hallmark, and Williams-Sonoma. And all that experience led me to running museum stores, university bookstores, and also healthcare retail and gift shops in hospitals. I started Premier Retail Consulting to support both retailers and manufacturers and helping them think outside the box. So our purpose today is to show examples of how and what is happening now and to what we're going to use to create tomorrow's new. So our goal is to make you think outside the box, and we're going to do this visually, and it's going to be a lightning round. So before we actually start that lightning round, Ashley and I would like to ask you some polling questions. So Ashley, are you ready to ask the first question of the audience? So Ashley, can you hear me?
Hi, Lily, can you hear me? Sorry, my computer just turned off and turned right back on, of course.
Oh no, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulty, but we're back. Okay, so I'm going to launch the poll, so it should show up on all of your screens. There are 3 questions. The first one is your store? And you should answer either open, closed, or a hybrid. And then the second question is, do you have either A, physical store, B, e-commerce site, or both? And then the third question we wanted to ask is, how are your sales? Up, down, or even? So we'll just give everyone a couple minutes just to answer that. I see we have some results in. Okay. Do you think we should wait a little bit longer, Lily, or think these are good so far?
I think these are probably good so far.
Perfect. It looks like our audience says their store is open would be about 57%, so more than half. 29% says their stores are closed, and then 13% says there's a hybrid combination.
Great. Good to know. That is very, very similar to some polls I've taken. So it's good to know the audience is about in that same range. How about the second question?
So the next question, we asked if people have a physical store, e-commerce site, or both. It looks like 63% of the audience has a physical store. 25% has an e-commerce site, and 13% has both.
Oh, good. That's good to know. And how are sales doing?
38% say their sales are up. 50%, so exactly half, say they're down, and 13% says they're even.
Great. I think this is important for all of us to know who is on, who's attending today, and it gives the audience a perspective of also what is going on. So I appreciate, thank you very much for that polling question.
Of course. Yes, thank you everyone for answering. This is super helpful.
Now, do I click off that polling question? Oh, you do. Okay.
Poll.
Thank you, audience, for being patient.
And I'm going to share the results with everyone in case they wanted to see them.
Oh, excellent. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a picture of that. I don't know if you can take a picture of your screen or not, but I'm going to take a picture.
Yeah, I will also keep it on my end as well. And I can send this to you after.
Okay. And the audience can do it too, especially if you're doing research for your company and people are asking these questions. And basically the reason that I ask these questions is because I was getting these questions myself. And sorry, I advanced my screen too quickly. I was getting these very same questions when COVID hit in March. And I had people calling me and asking me what was going on. And so I created a poll and took a poll of my clients and people I knew in retail and manufacturing just to get a sense. And these were the three questions that I took a poll on. At that time, most stores were open. They were just trying to figure out what was going on. But if they were in a hospital, those stores were on hold. So those hospital gift shops were on hold. But it's always good to do polling and to do research on, I like evidence-based research in order to make decisions on what to do and to share that knowledge with other people. So retail depends on change and on trends. So what have we learned in 2020 that we can build on in 2021? The question I want to just ask rhetorically is, How have you pivoted your business since COVID-19 hit? COVID-19 has changed all of us. And when we are threatened as human beings, we look for safety. And every time danger presents, our natural instinct is to look for safety. So guess what? Retail is now in the healthcare business. We are looking for safety in just about everything we do. So whether we're in store or online, we are definitely looking for safe areas of safety. And today I'm going to curate the new and the now and prioritize health and safety first in both our personal and business lives. And then I'm going to highlight a few new challenges and opportunities in retail, as from our habits to our home and to our happiness and healing. So our consumers started thinking outside the box way before retailers did. Our consumers rushed to grocery stores and started buying essential products. And essential products became the very first sellers in March when stay-at-home orders surfaced. We bought personal protection, we bought cleaning products, food to sustain us for on a long amount of time, but that amount of time was unknown. So what we tended to do is to hoard. And we started binge buying. The psychology behind panic buying is that the consumer realizes that they used a product in so many different places, but when they discovered they had to be at home, then they would buy that product in excess. And toilet paper became sort of the template for that. So they started hoarding toilet paper, and that was the predominant consumer behavior. Retail buyers and purchasing agents had to readjust their analysis, and they went from predictive analytics based on past, which is analytics based on past performance, to prescriptive analytics, which were based on the last 15 minutes of time. In other words, real time. And when they adjusted their algorithms, then they could make sure their store shelves were stocked. And we saw that happen with toilet paper. And toilet paper became the metaphor for bulk purchasing. How many of you in this audience either did yourself or knew someone that actually went out and bought toilet paper? Just-in-time purchasing algorithms had to change because of the demand. What have you changed in your buying and purchasing for your store as a result of a demand? Knowing a little bit about the product and the customer behavior behind a product, it's important. The average person will go through 1 to 2 rolls of toilet paper a week. And that means a family of 4 can spend up to $1,200 a year just on toilet paper. So knowing your customer is really important, because wouldn't you like to have a customer, 4 customers a year that spent $1,200 every year, and you could predict that in your store? So again, today we're going to highlight some of the well-known customer behaviors and that will determine our store's success. Again, we'll explore health and safety, habit and behavior, house and home, and happiness and healing. I'm going to challenge all of you to think outside the box, and you can use the toilet paper metaphor for examples of how our industry has sought solutions. So just to use the toilet paper metaphor, and that's just a metaphor, but the toilet paper industry did think outside a box, and they created 100% bamboo, tree-free toilet paper without a wrapper. So definitely a green toilet paper roll. Some Companies actually even started trying to promote a washable toilet paper, 100% organic. Really? Would you buy that? So do you have a toilet paper story in your store? In other words, did you think outside the box? Well, guess what? Our customers were way ahead of us. They discovered quickly, with the help of the CDC, that masks and face shields were extremely important in protecting them against the virus and the respiratory droplets that were produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or even talks. So PPE and protective personal equipment was recommended as a way to protect us from the virus. And it was recommended that we use a 3-ply surgical mask, and they were hard to get. It looks like every retailer started to join the healthcare industry, and their entry into it was facial masks and shields. An example of a vendor who pivoted is Snoozies. And Snoozies is noted for production of slippers. And they pivoted their production of slippers to make filtered 2-ply facial masks. Masks have become the canvas for our facial expression now. Here we have Kyle from UCSF. He's a med student, and he says he owns 20 facial masks, and he's showing them to us. He was featured in the Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle. So I wanted you to see that it's not just women wearing masks, it's definitely men and children. And then we got, as retailers, we got a lot of questions. Is there a mask that we can show our lips and face? And especially nurses were asking this in the coronavirus wards. And there actually is a mask that shows the mouth, and it's made for the deaf. So this was already in the marketplace, and many of the buyers actually started buying these just to put that in their merchandise assortments. Customers then started to complain that they were forgetting or dropping, or they're even actually losing their masks. So our buyers asked manufacturers, how can we help with this problem? And eyeglass holder manufacturers actually created mask necklaces and lanyards to keep the mask on the user. This is said to be an add-on. This is now an add-on accessory in our safety and wellness merchandise mix. How many of you are carrying the mask necklaces? If you aren't, ask your vendors if they have them in their lines. The CDC has also recommended face shields for protection, and this is an example of a face shield with a hat. I actually have one just like that. I don't know if you can see this on me, but this is the one that I have. And that one costs $22. So they're not very expensive. So make your eyes the prize now, because we're all wearing masks. And facial masks are the #1 accessory right now for the season, but it's a perfect time for us to play up our eyes. Since our mouths and lips are covered by the mask, the eyes and the eyebrows are the new facial expression. And because the lips are covered, did you know that lipstick sales are down 15%? And the prices of lipstick have fallen over 28%, according to Fortune magazine. So are you carrying eye, lid, lash, and brow cosmetics in your grooming section? Create a groom room in your store or a groom section, and you can merchandise these items for your customers. And this is what I call brow wow. These are brows that have been created, and I found these on, I think it was on Pinterest. But look at the crown over the eyes. The crown is now the eyebrow. So you can be really creative with facial expressions, and you can have fun designing your eyebrows. This artist has created an image of 2020 and an image of 2021. And I think what he's trying to say, or she, is that 2020 masks presented the best protection against the virus. And in 2021, our best protection will be the vaccine. So I think there's hope, but there's a little bit of hesitation for next year. That hope is represented in Pantone's 2021 color of the year. Pantone, the Pantone Institute, every year, the second week of December, and this year it's December 10th, will report on what they consider the 2021 color of the year. So if you can go online and sign up, it's a free class. And so on December 10th, they will be broadcasting what that color is. But the color forecasters have already jumped the gun, and they feel that they know the answer, which I'm going to share with you. But why am I concentrating on color? Well, color actually drives many industries, including fashion, home, health, and safety. And women, one of the determinative factors for women shoppers are color, whereas for men shoppers, it's function. So color becomes a very important consideration when buyers are making decisions. So we are going to show you that the color of the year is, drum roll, AI Aqua. It's both high-tech and low-tech color. So AI is artificial intelligence, and that aqua is the color of blue. Blue is very calming. If you think of a sign on the freeway for a hospital, you'll notice that the hospital sign is like a big H, and it's done in blue. And that's supposed to inspire confidence and a place to go when you need to. So AI Aqua is going to be the color of 2021. Where else do we see this color? We see this color in hospital surgical masks. We also see this color in what Pantone has already published is the color trends for 2021 summer collections. So we're seeing the aqua mixed with other palettes. This is a London designer that's interpreted AI Aqua in her collection. Notice the crown of facial masks. AI Aqua instills trust, confidence, and calmness. The fashion runways are interpreting 2021 as the color of the year, and buyers are investing in this color. Companies use color to communicate their brand emotion. I use the color emotion guide to study how color relates to emotion. Note that when you're blue branding, or like aqua blue, it create, if you look at this, if you can see this on the chart, blue creates a feeling of trust, dependability, and strength. Do you have a color for your brand or your store or your logo? And how are you using color in your store? Color is also used to communicate risk. Green is low risk, blue is cautionary risk, yellow is concern, Orange is high risk, red is severe risk, and purple extreme. We use color for air quality indexes. We use color for fire danger. And now states and counties are using color to advise of the risk levels of COVID. So not only are we concerned about our personal health and the health of the economy, but how is our $17 billion gift industry to survive? So in order to answer that question, we are going to go on a little bit of a tour of what business is reporting. So industry is reporting that some businesses are down as much as 70%, such as airlines, entertainment, and travel, while other industries are up over 100%, like digital communications and e-commerce, and some retailers. Economists have been predicting either a V-shaped recovery or a K-shaped recovery. And it looks like the US Chamber of Commerce that published this chart is looking at a K-shape. And let's explain what the K is. If you notice, the upper bar in the recovery area, the blue bar, the recovering industries are technology, retail, software. And the industries that are having trouble and need assistance are travel, entertainment, hospitality, and food service, i.e. restaurants. Retailers suffer a record plunge in March. And this is another US census study. Clothing suffered the most and grocery gained the most. How has the pandemic hit stores in 2020 compared to 2019? And you can see that this study is March, April, and May of 2020 compared with the same period in 2019. And all stores suffered at least a 10% drop in those 3 months. However, if you look at the second line to the bottom, online stores were producing 20 to 25% growth. Our habits are very, very important in a pandemic economy. So how can those habits translate for us? Well, it's said that shopping is the #1 pastime in America. So if people want to shop, where are they going to shop if they're staying at home? They're going to shop on their computer or on their smartphone. So how did customers respond to shopping in a pandemic? Well, one of the ways they did this was to look for safety in buying. And so both in-store and online. So these are examples of what safe shopping and buying habits look like. Self-checkout kiosks, contactless payment, and reduced delivery contact. The question that a lot of us are asking, who led the digital transformation for your company during COVID? Was it your CEO, your CTO, which is your Chief Technology Officer, or was it COVID? So online shopping has ballooned. Has yours? Consumers doubled down and started to flock to digital buying for safety reasons. According to the US Census Bureau, e-commerce trend has accelerated during the pandemic. Sales have gone from 160 billion to 220 billion, or up 38%. How does that compare to your online stores? And online sales are about 14% of a physical store's volume. Amazon just reported, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard this morning, that Black Friday sales were $5 billion, and Cyber Monday sales were up over 60% from last year. Customers were asked, how likely are you to continue online shopping? 53% of the consumers said that they want to continue to shop online after the pandemic. So contactless is our new normal. We look, we tap, and we go. Seamless. How many of us have contactless payments in their store? Just about all of us by now, I'm sure. Also, click and collect. BOPUS is very, very strong. Buy online, pick up in store, or on a curbside. And are you offering this service? Please consider it, especially for the holidays. QR codes are becoming the quick response to information. Think of a QR code as a virtual business card. We can see them in magazines and signs and web pages and clothing tags. QR codes hold a link to the store's website. And a little fact is that the Hawaiian airport is now reporting that they're using QR codes to track visitors to the island now during COVID. Here are some other high-tech solutions for low-tech problems. We see contactless faucets that are now touch-free. Do you have them installed in your store? We have contactless drinking fountains. Consider those. And we're featuring Santa keys, which are popular for touchless solutions for opening doors and pushing buttons. And you can merchandise the Santa keys in with your safety products. We are also seeking safety in maintaining contactless relationships and social distancing. And we've created our social bubble buddies. In seeking social engagement, we're actually doing social distancing. And this is an example of a park in, I think it's Dolores Park in San Francisco. And this is how the park encouraged people to come to it, but safely. We're also using 6-foot distancing in our stores. So what are customers telling us about their behavior, and how can that relate to our stores? So we'll go through the categories of health, home, happiness, and healing. Customers want clean. One of the best defenses against COVID is washing our hands with soap. Customers are fighting COVID with the bar soap. And the bar soaps that are mostly known are Dial, Dove, Irish Spring, Caress, and Ivory. But in our stores, in our gift shops, we can give the gift of clean by adding soap bars to our beauty and grooming classifications. And this particular soap set is from Beekman's. And it's a great Christmas present or holiday present. Michael Design Works also offers seasonal and everyday gift soaps. So now that we're living in COVID, how are we living in our virtual community, and what's the future of virtual? Well, telehealth is healthcare from a remote location like our homes. We can get care from our couch. How convenient is that? Care from at UCSF Medical Center, virtual visits went from 6,000 a month to over 300,000 a month in the last 7 months. Large growth there. And medical appointments are accomplished by doctor virtual visits. The US Census Bureau is showing that telemedicine visits grew by 154% in the last 7 months also. We can now virtually exercise. And so that increases the demand for exercise bands, mats, yoga clothing, running shoes, music, fitness bands to track your steps. And Fitbit is an example of that. Now, this is an ad for the YMCA. YMCA is now virtual. Note their clever ad, your virtual Y, same you, new view. Location, location, location. That is what is important now. So what locations are our customers primarily working from? Most of them are working from home. If they're an essential worker, they are not. But how do we capitalize on this work from home trend? And you can see in this study, 80% of people are working from home. Because we're staying at home and working from home, we even have some states in the United States that are trying to seduce remote workers with incentives. Did you know Oklahoma, Kansas, and Alabama and Vermont will pay $10,000 for you to move to their state if you can work remotely? And Hawaii is actually just offering to the first 50 people free airfare for anybody that can work just 2 hours a day and volunteer to a charity during the pandemic. Home offices are now our Zoom rooms. And Zoom is actually offering you a class on how to set up your Zoom room office. Zoom rooms are the new home office. And look who's saving money now. Employees are saving an average of $7,000 annually from not having to pay for commuting costs, eating out, spending less on clothing. Employers are actually saving an average of $11,000 per employee annually because they're spending less in office rent, supplies, and overhead. And the remote workers are reporting 82% less stress. Here's an example of Williams-Sonoma and how they're helping their customers by offering tasteful Zoom backgrounds. West Elm is hoping to build a relationship with you through building this social trust. And if you look at the 6 backgrounds in these slides, these are actually backgrounds in their catalog shoots. And they're featuring Williams-Sonoma and West Elm merchandise. Social selling is the next step. What is social selling? Social selling is a method to develop professional relationships as a part of the sales process. In a nutshell, it's about getting the buyer to know you, like you, and trust you with likes, comments, sharing, and publishing content on social media. If you want a deeper dive into what social selling is, LinkedIn is offering 30 suggestions. Now, how we look in our virtual meetings is becoming important. Ring lights have helped us look better and is one of the most products in demand. And now you may say, oh, I can't carry a ring light in my store, but now you can. This ring light is $15 cost, and you can put it on your smartphone. Now that we're concentrating on our homes, excuse me, an example of where we're spending our money is through Wayfair sales. If you look at Wayfair's sales, their stock price has soared during the pandemic. If you look to see in March, they were under $50 a share, and today they're over $250 a share. So their business has been booming. Even home sales are up 1 to 5% because people are looking to move out of the cities, and they're also interested in creating a larger footprint in their homes. Do-it-yourself projects have multiplied for a number of reasons. We are painting, sanding, staining, sawing, pounding, and trying to finish our work projects. Here's a study that was done asking what caused you to start your DIY project. And if you notice, the answers were, number one, the red, we're now at home more often. Number two, we have more spare time. 3, which is yellow, we're saving money by not hiring a contractor. 4, we don't want a contractor in our house, so we're doing it ourselves. And 5, contractors aren't available, so we're doing it ourselves. So how can we capitalize on this whole trend of home? By having a home section in our stores. 76% of homeowners are actually making at least one home improvement during COVID. And I know people that are actually improving their space with patios, gardens, and pools. So now we're going to move into health and wellness. Self-care is becoming a big business for happiness and healing. These are stressful times, and in stressful times, one of the things that we are told to do is just breathe. Apps like Calm help us detox from the stress of the day through meditation, music, breathing, and they even have adult bedtime stories that will put you to sleep. If you haven't tried Calm, please look it up and try it. Exercising outdoors is both now and new. We all know that movement is medicine. So walking, running shoes, yoga pants, sunglasses, and exercise equipment are very, very popular right now. What are you carrying in your store to follow this exercise trend? Lululemon is offering the Mirror as a home workout solution. You can now create a gym in just 2 feet. Calming and care products are back massagers, lavender, music. Create a calm corner in your store. Fast-growing categories are weighted blankets, sleepwear, and even sleep therapy is enhanced by weighted eye blankets. NodPod is one brand to check out. We get energized by nature and nature scenes, and we see that we can bring nature into our homes through art. We can bring nature into our homes through flowers and floral arrangements. We can also bring natural products like CBD and THC into our store mix. The San Francisco Chronicle rated the 5 best hemp oils in June. Check it out. Consumers are also looking for products and services that relate to the chemistry of happy hormones during the lockdown. So here's a couple examples of the positive feelings that you can get by different activities. Healthy eating builds dopamine. Healthy vegetable chips build dopamine. Pet therapy is alive and well. Playing with your dog activates the love hormone in both humans and animals. The pet industry is now a $3.5 billion industry, and Chewy.com sells $1.5 billion of it. So small pet products are very strong sellers. You can get restorative power through the neurochemical oxytocin is released when we play with our cats and dogs. Meditation candles create mood stabilizers of serotonin. Serotonin stabilizes our moods through running and cycling and swimming, and even indoor activities like gaming and puzzles. And Microsoft reported that 3/4 of their flight simulator players, it's a video game, took a flight home for the holidays during Thanksgiving. In other words, they flew home for Thanksgiving on their flight simulator. Here's a sweet spot for us. Dark chocolate is reported to boost our endorphins. And See's Candy is known for its boxed candy. And a little note that See's actually donated all their candy when their stores were forced to close to charity. We're baking at home and we feel a lot of reward and our dopamine goes up when we snack. So we have highlighted today just a few challenges and opportunities for you during COVID. We've covered what is selling now and what we see as new. Ashley, do we have any questions?
It doesn't look like we have any questions at the moment, but if anyone has any, please feel free to put them in the chat or question and answer function. We'd love to answer them.
So I have a question for the audience. What will you take away from this webinar and use in your store?
Feel free to put your answer in the chat. Lily, we did have someone make a comment and she said, our products are very colorful and our brand color is orange. We have had numerous positive responses to our spectrum of color.
Oh, good. You can get that emotion of color if you just Google it. And it's a great thing to study because color does communicate. So great comment. Thank you for that.
And then we had another person in our audience say that they are going to use the color emotion guide and they're already looking at QR codes.
Oh, wow, great. Thank you for that feedback. It's good to know that color sells. And it's also good that we're looking at technology in a different way. When I realized that a QR code could be a business card, I thought, oh, wow, I'm not that I use business cards anymore, but wouldn't that be fun to create a QR code for your business card? So the other question I wanted to ask is, has anybody what pivots have you done during COVID to adapt to the business climate right now? Have you implemented BOPUS? Have you increased your store footprint? Have you gone online and enhanced your website? Or are you using social media like Facebook Live to promote your store? You can even use Zoom.
One attendee said that they are doing more virtual presentations and virtual expos.
Great. You can do
we have a couple of responses, actually.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next person said, we are a state park and several of the parks repurpose snack vending machines to sell merchandise outside the facility. That's
whoa, that's a creative one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
And another response we received is, I have oral sprays, but created a hand sanitizer with essential oils. This created immune kits and a home office essential kit after working with the press agency who suggested this.
Oh, that's another fabulous one. So they have immune kits and then stay-at-home kits?
Home office essentials kits.
Home office. Wow. You guys are thinking outside the box. I love it. So with that, I just want to share one more fun fact. And Ashley and I were talking about this and I said, do I have too many slides? Should I include this one? And she goes, yes. So Ashley, this one's for you. The Visual Capitalist posted this infographic and it talks about the 29 psychological tricks and tactics used to make people buy more. We're not going to go through the whole thing. You can find this online. But Ashley, tell the audience why you wanted me to include this, because the first one you noticed was which one?
I remember I noticed I said like even reducing the left digit by 1, so going from $3 to $2.99, and also the remove the comma. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. So if we can make people feel good about our pricing and our stores, then we can follow Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So make your customers feel good about you. So Ashley and I'd like to thank you for attending this Marketplace educational session today, and we hope that you can take away some new and practical information to use in your stores. And I'd like to thank both Ashley and Clarion for sponsoring today. And also I'd like to tell you that you've been a great audience, and for attending today, you will receive a 30-minute complimentary consultation with me if you so choose. And all you have to do is reach out to me through the Marketplace virtual room, or you can go to my website, or you can mention that you attended this class, and you can email me. And no question is too simple or too dumb. And I'm happy to share my knowledge and my experience with you. And I'll stay on the webinar a little bit longer after this session is over. I guess it's going to be over in about 3 minutes. So you can ask questions if you want to now. So thank you, everybody. And Ashley, this has been great. And I want to give you a big hug. Thank you for being participating with me. I appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you so much for speaking. We've really, really appreciate it, and you've done a wonderful job. We've had a couple of various people in the chat say thank you so much. You've done a great job as well. So great feedback.
Great.
But yeah, we can stay on just a couple more minutes just to see if anyone does have any questions. And like Lily said, if something comes up later or you'd love to get a free consultation from her, feel free to contact her through the Marketplace. She has a showroom in there, or via email or her website.
And we do host a weekly meeting with hospital gift shop buyers and managers and volunteers to discuss the state of operations during COVID. So if there are any hospital gift shops on this presentation, you're welcome to join, and all you have to do is send me an email.
Perfect. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, so I think we can wrap it up.
So we did it in 59 minutes.
Perfect. Just in the nick of time.
We did. Well,
thank you so much again. You did a wonderful job, and I just think you had so many great points. So we really appreciate it, and I think it's very valuable and insightful to this industry.
Well, and I appreciate being able to share this. I think this is the gift that we all need for the season. So thank you very much.
Thank you.